Now we'll get into the details. This is really a solid picture of a congregation that I think has a future and has some health to it. And there are some challenges. We'll get to those, but you've got a foundation on which to deal with those challenges. So take a deep breath out. You can breathe out because this is okay. All right, let's go to the next page. What we at Holy Cow want to know, we want to dig into your brain. So when you were answering the satisfaction question, how satisfied are we? And the energy question of, are we just going through the motions? We wanted to know, as you were answering those questions on the computer, what were you thinking about? What aspects of church were you thinking about that relates to satisfaction and relates to energy? And so through statistical analysis, we got to read your brain. And so for you, the way you look at this driver's page is to think of it this way. And I'll do it first with the drivers of satisfaction. You read it this way. We are most satisfied at St. James the Fisherman when, number one, our church does a good job supporting people in ministry and making sure they know they're making a difference. Okay? We are most satisfied, number two, when worship services are exceptional in quality and spiritual content. We are most satisfied, number three, when we do a good job of helping each other understand our call to ministry. We're most satisfied, number four, when the congregation is committed to abiding by the historic faith. And we are most satisfied, number five, when the church welcomes and is enriched by persons from many walks of life. This is one of the most unique set of drivers I've seen in a long time. I love it because it's very diverse and unique. What I often see in the drivers are things related to the performance of the priest. Now, I know you haven't had one, but that even in churches that haven't had one and are in transition, they still look back to the performance of the rector being what satisfies them or not. And I call those very rector-centric or clergy-centric congregations. You are not that, which says to me that all of you have taken on a lot of responsibility and taken on your baptism to minister in this church and to keep this church faithful to its mission and doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I congratulate you on that. I find clergy-centric churches much more anxious because when you depend on the rector, if the rector is not around, we fall apart. Or if the rector we love so much, we worry about what's going to happen to us when that person's leaving. Or if the rector is not performing the way you want, the worry is, how do we get rid of that person? You don't carry that anxiety. You might have other anxieties, but you don't carry that. And that's an important one not to carry. So again, this is a healthy place. Now, because these are the things that, and the degree of focus where it says very high and high, statistically, over 90% of those who completed this, these are the 5 things on your mind. So it's pretty unanimous that these are the satisfiers. So, going back to the question of satisfaction, 50% are satisfied, but the other 50% somewhere else on the spectrum, that means that if all of these 5 drivers were happening perfectly, your satisfaction level, it would be 100% would be very satisfied. But 50% are. So it says there's room for improvement in these 5 areas. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it gives you a signal as to where you could put your energy to bring up the level of satisfaction. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. And the drivers of energy are a little different. They can be the same as the drivers of satisfaction. In your case, most of them are different. We are most energized when, and you have to read this question is worded in the negative. There is frequently a small group of people that opposes the majority. We're most energized when there's not. You have to read it in the negative. When there's not a small group of people opposing what the majority wants to do. We're most satisfied when the whole spirit of the congregation makes people want to get involved. We're most satisfied